I just published an article at Dropside News showing that hundreds of former Israeli spies are working in big tech, including in Silicon Valley. The article is based on a database of former members of Unit A200, an elite signals intelligence unit of the Israeli military, and other divisions of the Israeli intelligence establishment, showing a number of veterans who have gone on from jobs in Israeli intelligence to working for global tech firms, including in the United States. This database, in addition to showing us over 1,000 people from these units working in Silicon Valley, also point to some of the connections of people involved in the recent takeover by Palo Alto Networks, one of the world's largest cybersecurity firms. Palo Alto recently paid billions of dollars to take over another firm from Israel called CyberArk. What was not mentioned in the press releases and other information publicly reported about the takeover, that the head of Palo Alto Networks and the head of CyberArk are both veterans of Unit A200, the Israeli military signals intelligence unit. These former colleagues in Israel's intelligence apparatus went on to work together in Silicon Valley, buy out one another's companies, and this sort of behavior is very, very common in Silicon Valley today. I previously reported Dropside News on the takeover of another firm by Google called Wiz, all of whose founders were previously members of Unit A200 and met inside the unit. Dozens and dozens of these takeovers are taking place right now, and the net result is to bring people from Israel's military and intelligence bureaus at very high levels into Silicon Valley by the mechanism of acquisitions and takeovers, and even mergers in some cases between American firms and Israeli ones. Effectively, what we see are people who are not necessarily actively spies for a foreign country, but who have a background in that country's intelligence agency and connections with colleagues who are in that country working on the same subjects. They have very privileged access to American data, but also global data flows too. In the case of Palo Alto Networks, we're talking about a company which is a security provider for tens of thousands of customers around the world, managing the data of millions, hundreds of millions, potentially billions of people, now being run effectively by people who were former spies in Israel's intelligence establishment and who still maintain networks with that same establishment. What we would never accept this sort of penetration in the United States by former intelligence officials from Japan or China or Russia or even Britain or Canada. But in the case of Israel, it's treated as an exception. People who would say that there's nothing to worry about here and this is something fine to have thousands of members of the Israeli intelligence establishment working in our tech sector would say that, well, Israel's a friend of the United States. Even if you do take that view, what's going to happen 30 years from now if maybe Israel and the United States are not on good terms? You still have a situation where a critical industry is heavily compromised by intelligence officials from a foreign country. That's a national security threat that no one would